My name is Mary Houle. I've been gardening in this town since about 1959 when my family moved here and bought a large farm on Cochrane Road. Now let's get down to business. Okay, first of all, you need to identify what you need for containers. You can go the formal way and buy the professional seeding containers, which I have here. This has the basic 6 cells. That's what each one of those is called. It also has a dome. So when you put the seeds in and set them into the bottom plastic, cover them with the dome, and that holds the humidity in so that they have great success in rooting. This is an example of from going to that to the next step up. Ideally, they should all look like this beautiful basil plant here. So these are basil plants that were transplanted, and basil is what I'm going to be planting today. Now, talking about other containers, I am a very frugal gardener when it comes to what I need for establishing my garden. You'll probably recognize this as a strawberry container, and into that, it's loaded with holes for drainage, and then I just put a folded paper towel in there. The paper towel just serves the purpose of holding the soil in so it doesn't wash away after you water it. You want to buy something that is called specifically potting soil. Potting soil has been sterilized, and the sterilization allows the seed to compete with nothing other than the soil to get established. There's no bacteria that is errant, that is contributing to the demise of your plants, which is very helpful. You'll probably recognize this as a salad container. This is one of my magic greenhouses, let's call it. But what this does is this keeps the humidity in. When I worked in a greenhouse, I've worked in greenhouses for about 7 years, and these are containers that we had from, when we would order in plants, the seedlings came in those. So again, I recycle them. This is potting soil here that I've already put into the other 3 rows, and I've poked holes already with my pencil. That's all you need, just drill down a tiny bit. And the basil seeds are pretty large compared to a lot of other seeds, let's say. So don't be shy about putting the seeds in. I put about 2 seeds per cell. Each one of these little holes is called a cell. That's what we call them in the greenhouse. So after I've put the seeds in, by the way, I've already moistened this soil. It's important to moisten the soil ahead of putting the plants in, because if you don't, what happens sometimes when you go to water it later, the water pools and runs off, and that's because the soil is much too dry, and in order to accept the seed, you have to break the surface tension. So what I do is I put the soil into a bin, a dish container, something that is not with drainage holes, without drainage holes, and then I just massage the soil and put water into it until it's moist. Not until I can make a mud pie, but just so that it's moist. And then I just smooth it into the cells and clean it off with a squeegee or whatever, an old credit card. Just wipe the top off so that you have an easy surface to see. I poke the holes in, I put the basil seeds in, and I'm just going to pat the top down. And one of the important things with your basil seeds, this, you should, because it's in its little domed greenhouse, you shouldn't put this in direct sunlight because it's going to roast your basil a little early. But what you'd want to do is put it in a window or near a window where it gets daylight, and in a couple days' time, you'll notice the little seedlings start to sprout up, and at that point, you'll want to check. You can very lightly touch the sides of your cells to see if they're still moist. And if they're still moist, fantastic. If not, you want to water from the sides. And what that does is that allows you to bottom water. And bottom watering is important because once you get water on the leaf starts competing with surface bacteria. And even though this is sterile soil to start with, the water can introduce some adverse conditions to your plant. Another very important thing, if you plant one row, you'll want to make sure that you label it. I've labeled this basil for the 1st of May, so that's going to go with that container. It's important to know the date that you planted it So that you can go, oh, I've had success or I've had failure. Again, you'll check the package and it'll say expect germination in a specific time frame. Does the package say germinate in sunlight or dark? If it's absent on either, you can put it, like you could leave it right here under a fluorescent light, or you could put it near a window. Top water until the leaves sprout, and then bottom water to keep the leaves dry. You'll see a first set of leaves emerge, and they're not to be discounted. That just proves that the seed was working. And the second set of leaves to emerge are called true leaves. If you're using direct overhead lighting for your plants, you don't need to rotate your flats to shape the plants. But if you're using the windowsill, for example, and sunlight, you need to turn the flats to shape the plants. Otherwise, you'll get them leaning one way or the other. When do you sow your seeds? If you're sowing them indoors, you sow them 4 to 6 weeks ahead of the last date of frost. And in our zone 4, our last date of frost is going to be Memorial Day. So bear that in mind. So there's no reason for us not to start planting. Don't despair if your seedlings don't work. You can usually find plants at the hardware store or wherever you choose to buy at a nursery right up until Memorial Day into June. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Happy gardening.